if you lose your data, if your customers are going to get blocked, that's it, right? And as a brand, you're going to suffer. And if you're not going to be up to date, then you're going to become a dinosaur. The technology changes that's happening, there has to be a change management program that's going to run within most of the organizations, because people are not going to use systems because you tell them it's going to help the business do better or it's going to make your life a lot more easier. You have won something, please enter your credentials. And you can do it internally rather than waiting someone else to do it actually and get your server hacked. From a personal point of view, cybersecurity can be a little bit overwhelming. Find your patch where you want to play and become real, go and become an expert, because the time has reduced so much. You make a slightest mistake because you got the wrong email or you got the wrong link, you're looking at maybe millions of dollars of losses.
Hey Amila, glad to see you again.
Likewise.
Really happy to have you here on TechTalk360 live podcast booth.
Oh, thank you very much.
So,
Glad to be here.
to start off, just a quick introduction about you and your new endeavors around.
Yes. So I'll be starting with MullenLowe as a director of business transformation. The reason is that it's a new opening, and then it's also an exciting opening because I'm one of the people who has been on the innovation side for a long time, and I think this gives me an opportunity for me to go and share my learning experience with not just with an organization but with a lot more other brands as well, and then also help them transform to capture some of the future opportunities that's coming up, and then also mitigate some of the threats that is rising with AI and everything else that's happening in the tech world.
Like you mentioned, AI is like a buzzword, and cybersecurity is much important as that.
Yeah.
It's been slowing down, and people, try not to care about it. What's your perspective and point of view of cybersecurity and AI?
I come from a business background, and the problem is that when you are working on a business, continuous growth, and then also protecting the assets that you have, your customer base, while the technology landscape has changed quite significantly with AI coming in, also brings a lot of new threats that we have never seen before. And I think that's the biggest reason for cybersecurity to be really, how do I say it, really up their game, because AI changes the way someone can start hacking a system. Earlier you had to do some coding, you had to do it manually, but here now you have the ability to really program something, and then that's going to take over. And I think the rapid the number of times that you're going to get attacked is going to be so much more than what used to happen. And I think that's the reason why I feel like AI and cybersecurity are going to work hand in hand, is as much as from a business point of view, you also have to protect your business.
Absolutely,
And if you lose your data, if your customers are going to get blocked, that's it, right? And as a brand, you're going to suffer. And if you're not going to be up to date, then you're going to become a dinosaur. And I think that's what's really happening with AI as well. It's going to get normalized, but at the same time, it's going to present a lot more new challenges to the brands and the companies as you move forward.
So, like you mentioned, the companies, culture, awareness, and employees in this cybersecurity field is really important. What's your point of view on do you agree with the culture and awareness being set for the cybersecurity standards? What do you say about?
Very interesting question. When it comes to the culture, I think from a Sri Lankan point of view, our cultures are a lot more reactive, and we are also very comfortable with the way we are doing things. And we also tend to use a lot of software without really following the right protocols that the organization have in place. And I think from a cultural point of view, you need to evolve. And if your business is going to get disrupted because you did something silly by going and entering your credentials on a system, and I think without you knowing it, you might end up doing it. And that's going to lead to a lot more business damage than actual upside. And I think from a cultural point of view, that's why it needs to really evolve. And that comes with a lot of training and development. I personally feel that with the technology changes that's happening, there has to be a change management program that's going to run within most of the organizations, because people are not going to use systems because you tell them it's going to help the business do better or it's going to make your life a lot more easier. My experience with trying to implement systems most of the time has been, oh, the system doesn't work, my way of doing things is better than the system. And that's because inherently we are a culture that look inwards most probably rather than looking outwards, because we are very comfortable. But I think that needs to change if we are to really mitigate the threats that's arising, and then also to make sure that the business continues, because one data leak I mean, like in Sri Lanka, we've had many companies that has been hacked, ransomware, all these different things.
Yeah.
And I think from a cultural point of view, from a training and development point of view, it has to continuously evolve. And you need to make sure that you are going to set a roadmap and you're going to keep executing. And then you also need to validate whether the culture is changing as well. What are the tests that you want to run, experiments that you want to run within a culture or from a training and development point of view to understand how many of people are actually aware of what's going on and how many are actually going to get it. Like simple things like, you can send an email to someone saying, hey, you have won something, please enter your credentials. And you can do it internally rather than waiting someone else to do it actually and get your server hacked.
Yeah.
So those are my views when it comes to the culture and training and development.
Yeah, amazing. So there's so many global security standards and challenges uprising and new innovations coming in as well. What do you think you are expecting to see in the future?
Um, so we are going from being on an agentic AI to more in terms of super intelligence. And I think the phases of innovation are going to be extremely more shorter now, because if you really think from from the steam engine to getting electricity took a longer number of years. Now your rate of innovation or the diffusion is much shorter, and because of that, if you're not going to continuously evolve and adapt, then that's going to be the problem. So I think you need to think about how do you build systems that's going to help you stay ahead, and how do you extract information from what's happening around, and really having a roadmap of how do you evolve with the technology. From a future point of view, I think AI is here to stay. Same sort of sentiments are around when it came to blockchain. But I think the I think from a technology point of view, I'm not saying this is going to take over the other, but I think I'm kind of coming from an agnostic point of view, saying I want to look at what's happening and what I can adopt to be ahead of the game. I would almost always look at it from business point of view, not for anything else. If I don't solve a real business problem, no system can help. So how do I adopt different technologies, platforms that's coming in that can help us stay ahead of the game is how I kind of look at it.
Awesome. And I think you're the best person to ask this. You work with a lot of young guys and the younger generation, and they tend to come into cybersecurity and study cybersecurity.
Yeah.
What is that one advice you would love to share with them?
Um, from a personal point of view, cybersecurity can be a little bit overwhelming. Find your patch where you want to play, and become real. Go and become an expert. What really happens is that most of the time we try to become generalists before we have kind of gone really in depth in one area. So first, really learn your the basics, the foundation, and then start building from there. Uh, my advice is that with everything that's happening, you have to reinvent yourself all the time. So you kind of need to be very open about it. You're going to start becoming an expert initially, but then you're going to start venturing into other areas. So be a generalist, keep learning, and keep trying new things, because we are in a day and era that if you don't try new things, you're going to get replaced very fast.
Absolutely.
And that's my view, and that's my advice to anyone who's getting it. I think it's universal. It's not just for the young guys, but it's also the people who are saying, this is how I used to run things, this has worked for me in the past. Unfortunately, it's all knowledge and it doesn't work anymore, because the world has changed significantly.
Agreed, 100%. Finally, summits like the Cybersecurity Summit, how important are these to the community and for the country as well?
I think we are an extremely connected world now, and because of that, the importance of cybersecurity has become even more important, because for us to connect with anyone across the world, do a transaction, now it takes maybe minutes, maybe even less than minutes. And I think that's the most important thing. Because the time has reduced so much. You make a slightest mistake because you got the wrong email or you got the wrong link, you're looking at maybe millions of dollars of losses. And I think that's what we need to really account for. And I think that's what's really important. And for me, why I'm here at the summit is to really update myself, because again, I believe in continuous updation of yourself. And for me, this is one of those opportunities. And then really learn what's happening in the world, because I mean, like human, it's impossible to really grasp. But listening to these industry leaders, experts, gives you a fresh perspective and also gives you an insight of how they would look at a problem. So that's why I'm here.
100%. Thank you so much, Amila, for coming
Thank you
live
for having
podcast
me.
good, and wishing you all the best.
Thank you
And
very
I'll
much.
see you soon.
See you soon. Take
Thank
care.
you.